Today's a new day, let the old pass away. Gratitude on sky. No more chains, no more masks. Time to make a change. No more holding myself back. The change begins in me. I'm answering my purpose call. Positive push. Embracing life. I'm valuable in life. Today's a new day, a fresh taste of new grace. Gratitude don't sky high. No more lanes. Today's a new day, let the old pass away. Gratitude don't sky high. No more chains, no more legs. No more holding myself.
Holding myself back. Hello, wonderful people, and welcome to your next episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. I am your favorite inspirational speaker, life balance and accountability coach, and of course, the host of What's in Your Cup Conversations, Consuela Nicole. How is everybody doing today? As you come in, make sure you are sharing this live. We are currently streaming across 3 different platforms. So make sure you are sharing this live video across all of your platforms, no matter if it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, because the conversation today is definitely the answer to someone else's prayers, right? As you know, here on What's in Your Cup Conversations, we don't just talk about what's in your cup, what you're drinking on, mind you. We don't talk about that too, but we also talk about the mental, physical, and emotional side of what's in somebody's cup, right? We are now in this day and age where we see the beginning of someone's story and we see all the glitz and the glam and all of that good stuff, but no one really ever truly talks about the hills and the valleys and the mountains and all the things in between. Today, I promise you, we're going to talk about that and some. So, how is everybody doing? I see you guys are coming in. I love it. Thank you very much for joining. So, come on in. Let me know you are here. Matter of fact, let me know where you are watching from, because what I have realized, and I am so grateful, right, for all of your love and support, that we are just about in 45 states and we are streaming international, y'all. We are global. Can we say global for What's in Your Cup Conversations, y'all? We have crossed the international waters, and I am excited. Um, I will tell you though, your girl had a struggle this past week, and it wasn't even my voice. It was more of I had no energy. My energy levels was just in it just wasn't there. But we are doing better today, and I'm excited about today. But let me tell y'all something. There's a few different things that I want to mention before we bring our guest on. The first thing is, as you can see, your girl had to switch it up a bit, right? Now, y'all know I cut my hair and went completely natural a while ago, but I cut my hair completely short a year ago. Literally May of 2024, I cut my hair. Um, and a lot of it was because of the medication I was taking. Everyone know I take a synthroid pill, and the synthroid pill didn't like my hair and some stuff. So we cut everything off. When I say we, I mean my stylist at Gifted Trust. And she created this custom unit that I had not touched in a year. She ain't touched it in a year, y'all, and it still got some body to it and the color. Now, mind you, I'm not the stylist, so I'm still playing with the curling iron and playing with all the things. But if you want your own custom wig, go ahead and scan that QR code and go to her website. Get your own custom unit. Yes, she is in Ontario, California, but she definitely ships everywhere. Hold on, let's just make sure everything and everybody is. I think it is. I think it is. Yep, there we go. She will definitely ship any and everywhere. So go and get your own custom unit. Um, It's not just the quality. I love it, right? But I had to put that out there. Secondly, something I want to ask each and every one of you. You know, the Beautifully Flawed experience is back, y'all. The Beautifully Flawed experience is back for fall of 2025, and we are doing it virtually. You guys asked for it. You asked if I was going to be able to do it virtually, and we are definitely doing it virtually. So, what I want you to do, scan the QR code or go to my website, beautifullyflawedexperience.com or consuelanicole.com. And right now, there is a 45% discount on registration. I will tell you, we are halfway full of registration. I don't know if we're going to open more seats or not because what we talk about is completely personal. So we don't want to overwhelm any of the ladies that's in the actual experience. So we're gonna keep it intimate. We're gonna keep it small. I don't know if we're gonna open up more spots. So go ahead and scan the QR code now or go to the website and get your registration. Because again, I can tell you we are halfway full, and right now there is a 45% discount. The discount may end at the end of this show, or at the end of today, I should say, because I know of the time difference. But who knows? We're going to see. We're going to let God run the show. And if He tell me to leave it up there, we're going to leave it up there. If not, then the price will increase. All right. So make sure you guys go register for the Beautifully Flawed experience. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And that's what I was waiting on. Before I bring my guest on, because we talk about a lot of different things, right? And that's what What's in Your Cup Conversations is all about. But let me tell you, we are nearing the end of our second season, right? After today's show, we have one more episode in season 2. And then we are on a summer break and we will be back for season 3. But how about, guys, we are already booked for the remainder of 2025, right? We are booked up for the remainder of 2025. And a lot of that has to do with you guys, first and foremost, meaning all of our supporters, all of our viewers, everyone out there watching. But it also has a lot to do with our sponsors. So I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Sacred Sunflower Wellness Solution. This is definitely a company out in Florida. So make sure, first and foremost, that you scan the QR code for them, okay? But let me tell you about Sacred Sunflower Wellness Solution. This is a full spectrum service dedicated to supporting bodily anatomy, let's get it right, supporting bodily anatomy and reproductive justice. This organization offers courses and workshops focused on building better boundaries, fostering positive self-talk, enhancing self-awareness, and providing childbirth education. Scan the QR code and connect today with Sacred Sunflower Wellness, and that's sacredsunflowerwellness.com, because I know she got something for y'all. I was playing on her website. I ain't gonna tell y'all everything that I saw because I want you to go look for yourself. Ha ha ha. I know I am such a tease. Y'all ready? The B side of life. I see you. Good evening. Good evening. Sacred Sunflower Wellness Solution. I see you. Thank you for joining in. Yes, you are here. And thank you so much, Sacred Sunflower Wellness, for your continued support and sponsorship. Are y'all ready for today's guest? Because y'all been blowing my inbox up. Y'all know that, right? Y'all been blowing, and I said y'all, I know that is not politically correct, but y'all have been blowing my inbox up trying to figure out what was we talking about, cuffs to crowns. Y'all was like, Consuela, cuffs and crowns do not go in the same sentence. Yes, it does, and I'm going to tell you why, baby, because my guest today, she is a proud mom. She is a devoted mother. She is a proud wife. She is part of the Grandma Club, y'all. Y'all know I'm a proud Nene. So we're going to talk about the grandbaby. She is not just a proud wife. She is married to a Army and law enforcement veteran. So definitely thank you to the husband for your services. She, baby, she is a plus size model. She is a beauty queen. She is an advocate, and she is in education. But you know what? I can't do this. Let me just bring her up to the screen because, baby, her bio is where's she at? Where, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome Miss Sterlin to the stage today. How you doing, Miss Sterlin?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Consuela.
Oh man, we not gonna keep this formal like that. Let's try this again. Sterling, how you doing today?
I am doing well, girl. How are you
That's
today?
what
I
I'm
am
talking
so
about.
blessed and highly favored and so excited to be here.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Look, we keeps it real right here on What's in Your Cup conversations. We're not gonna keep it all formal and hee. We're gonna have a real transparent conversation, right? So,
Okay.
first of all, thank you very much for joining me today. I know your time frame is a little different than mine. It's a little late over there, but baby, I don't care how late it is. I got to say, sister, you looking good over there.
Thank you
You're
so much.
shining.
Thank you so much, girl. I didn't want to disappoint the audience.
No, I don't think you could. I don't think you could, because baby, that hair is herring and that smile is shining. So let me
Thank
ask you,
you.
right? I sat there and read part of your bio. I haven't even read it all because you a mom, you a wife, you a grandma, you are in the education field. We're gonna talk about that. You are an advocate. You are a plus size model. You are a model. We're gonna talk about that plus size title. You are a model. You are a beauty queen. You are all these things. I just talked about what was in your cup, right? However, and I ask all of my guests this at the beginning of every show. I just introduced you to the world with part of your bio. But how does Sterling introduce herself to Sterling in the mirror every morning? How do you introduce you to get your day started?
I wake up, I go in the bathroom, of course, do my routine to wake up, and I just say, "Good morning, gorgeous. Today is a day that the Lord has made. This is an opportunity to be a better you than you were yesterday. And come on, let's get it." And that's
Yeah,
just what I do.
I love it. Then let's get it. Because we're about to have a real good conversation. But first, I got to ask, where your cup at? What you got in your cup today?
Girl, I'm sipping a little water today, trying to stay hydrated.
Okay, well, today, you know what? And I know some people going to be like, Consuela, what? I got coffee in my cup. I do. And it's not cold coffee, it's room temperature because
Okay.
it I drink coffee for the taste, right?
Okay.
And the flavor. It's not it because it's decaf coffee at that, right? But it's something about the warm coffee that helps my vocal cords. And I know I got some singers out there that's like, if you don't put that coffee down and get tea, well, coffee works for me.
I'm an
Right?
iced coffee type of girl. I like it cold. I like it cold and creamy and sweet.
Right. So you look, you like dessert with a hint of coffee.
You might as well say yes.
Right?
That's how
Right?
I like it.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. You know, we're just gonna jump into it, right?
Okay.
Because you got some buzz going on right now. You being a beauty queen wasn't always in your cup.
No,
You being a mom and a grandma was not always in your cup.
no.
Did you ever think about you being a wife at any point?
Well, I got married straight out of high school.
Okay.
Zero stars, do not recommend. We were young, we were dumb, we were toxic, we thought we were in love. So I got married at 18. It some people work out, they are still together with their high school sweethearts. Um, God didn't intend that for me. So we went our separate ways. We did our best as far as raising our children together. And I married later on in life, closer to 40. And I've been rocking out in a marriage ever since.
Okay. So how long have you been married? Say it again.
I have been married 5 years, but we've been together 10 years.
Okay. Okay. Well, definitely congratulations on the nuptials. And now you have how many babies?
I have three young adults. Everybody's grown. We're empty nesters. Nobody's here but us and the dog.
But you got a grandbaby. You part of grandma club.
Ooh, I do.
How old is that
And
grandbaby boy?
he just turned three. 3 years ago, he was born on Mother's Day. And it was the most unbelievable, the greatest gift that someone could ever give you, a grandbaby on Mother's Day. And I didn't think I was gonna like it at first, because they ain't building them grandmas like they do it big enough
No,
for me
not at
back in the
all.
day. This I be outside, girl. But
Uh-huh. I
but
get it.
baby come around and I just melt like putting in his hand.
Yeah, and all your rules that you had with your kids go out the window. I know.
Yeah. And
My grandbaby is 6. He'll be 7 in December. So trust me, I
my
get
daughter
it.
is always be talking about, see, ma, you don't get on him like you used to get on me. I'm like, I didn't really get on you when you were 2 and 3. See, ma, he just can do. I'm gonna be like, yeah, and this my house, and he can do that over here. Don't
Right,
business.
right. So now, I'm about to take you back for a minute, right? We talked about what you do now. Let's go back a little bit,
Okay.
right? Because you didn't always have a crown.
Right.
You got a crown now. What did you have before?
Mm. Before the crown, I was coming into clarity and trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do for myself.
Okay.
I kind of was, all over the place. Some people figure it out early, some people figure it out late in life. But I was trying to find out what was my purpose before, the crown. I'm a mom, I'm young, I'm plus size, I'm here. I have, a couple of things that I can't take away, like you can't cover up your tats, some things you just can't cover up about yourself, but
Mhm.
it doesn't happen. So we here now. So now what are we going to do with ourselves, Sterling? You need to figure out what it is that you want to do for you, figure out what goals that you want to reach for you, and get yourself together. It's never too late.
Mhm.
So before the crowns, I was enjoying life. I was coming into my calm. I've already had my storm. And I was just, waking up like, okay, girl, you done did this, that, and the third. Don't let nobody trick you off the streets. Don't let nobody, tell you what you cannot do. And always speak positivity into yourselves, to yourself. And that is what I was doing before the crown. Just how we all do. We all have to just take one thing at a time, and that's what I was doing.
Okay. So before you get into your journey of, working through your storm, right, where you are right now and figuring it out, you weren't always thinking about figuring it out. You
Mm,
was just, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do, and I can care less what anybody else say type attitude.
girl. And I still, have that attitude to the extent, but I had to learn to humble myself. I had to learn to give myself grace. I had to learn that you can get more things done with sugar than,
Right,
and
right. So
you
I'm
know,
gonna ask you, because I'm about to just put it out there. You ready?
I'm ready, girl.
They say from cuffs to crowns.
That's
Let's
me.
talk about it.
Ooh,
What is, baby? Let's
baby.
talk about it.
Looking like Queen Latifah from Set It
This looks
Off.
like two different women on my screen right now. Who is?
Yes,
What the heck is going on?
girl. It was just a point in my life where I just truly
What's
didn't
happening?
give a darn. Like, that is something like most people would be embarrassed, and I'm not embarrassed because I look at that picture from time to time and be like, girl, you did that. Like, you are a true definition of what being in a prison, in a jail cell, in an orange jumpsuit looks like. And look at you today. Like,
Well, tell me about it. What got you? And you don't have to go into all the details, right? What was life like that made you want to put on, or did you want to put on that orange jumpsuit?
No,
Or
I
was it
didn't
just
want to put it on. It
okay?
definitely did nothing for my girlish figure.
Okay.
Um, I come from a two-parent household. Parents very loving. Only
Okay.
child in the house. Mom and dad went above and beyond. I had private school education. I talked my parents into letting me go to public school. I was a very smart young lady, graduated high school with honors, but I was one of them ones who my dad passed away when I was in high school. I was a little rebellious, a little angry about that. It was just me and my mom. We bumped heads a lot. And then I was one of the ones who thought I knew it all. I had a baby at 15, which I know was devastating for my parents and my grandparents and other people around me because they saw so much more for me. When I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian, not go to a jail cell, and I just was, I don't know, I turned into one of them teenagers and one of those young ladies who just thought she knew it all. So I'm gonna leave home. Like I said, I got married straight out of high
Mm-hmm.
school. I hooked up with, people who were living La Vida Loca. I always thought like living like this, like in the movies with the big
Right.
money and the cars and everything, like that type of lifestyle excited me. And I wanted to live that type of lifestyle. So again, why I don't know because I can't say I never worried about a meal or my next pair of shoes or anything. I was the baby of the family, like I was, a spoiled little girl. But I don't know. I don't know what it was in my mind at the time that said, "Hey, Sterling, you can go out here and get money fast. You can live fast. You can run the streets. You can do this. You can do that." But I ended up meeting up with some people. I ended up linking up and doing some things that I'm not proud of. I got caught up, doing some scamming, writing some bad checks, doing bank fraud. I did a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of. And it ended up, getting me some time and end up in jail and then in prison and then in jail again and then in prison again. And when I got home, I just feel like I just could not get it right. Like every time I thought I was figuring it out, it felt like the finish line was moving. Like I was about to pass go and collect $200 and I go right back to jail. That literally was like how I was feeling. I was drowning. And then
So
I
let
had
me
to
ask you this.
realize,
Let me ask you this. Total. I know you said you went in and came out and went in and came out. Total. How much time did you serve in that orange jumpsuit?
so I went to prison twice. I did a total of 3 years. If you combine both times, I went the first time for about 18 months, and then I went back for I want to say like maybe 10 or 12, 12 months, and then it was just constant silly stuff. I just kept going to jail for after that. So I want to say if I had to put like a number on the total amount of time I spent in and out of going to jail, it was like I'm gonna say maybe about 5 years.
5 years total.
Mhm.
Okay. So I asked you for a different type of. So I need to put this back up there because, baby, these two pictures is. I know it's the same person, but the story between the two, baby, I'm here for it. But I asked you for another picture, right? Matter of fact, I'm not gonna even bring that picture up right now. I'm gonna wait,
Okay.
and that's because you have now gotten out, right? How long have and this may if this is not politically correct or the way it should say be said, please correct me. How long have you been out of jail?
The last time I believe I went to jail may have been about 2011, 2012.
Okay. So in the midst of starting over, right? I know it wasn't easy, right? And you put it out there that it wasn't easy. And listening to different people in the community starting over after jail time isn't easy. What did you have to go through when you first got out? Because right now, baby, you elevating. You are that wife. You are that mom. You are that advocate, right? You are a manager of sorts, right? You have now started a company. You are now out changing lives. You are a positive role model because you are modeling. Granted, they say plus size modeling. You are modeling. You are a beauty queen, meaning you on stage with crowns and banners and you doing all the things, but it didn't come easy.
It did not.
What was that like going from that orange jumpsuit to where you are now?
I had to, I want to say, reality check myself.
Okay.
So I had to learn that I had to stop surrounding myself with people who were keeping me in that space of remaining that person in that orange jumpsuit, because I'm keeping these people around me thinking they're my friends and they mean me well, and they do not mean me well. So I had to change my surroundings, and I had to start taking accountability for what it was that I was doing to myself. And it took it was a lot of tears, it was a lot of time, it was a lot of looking at myself in the mirror, because it's easy to say, oh, I've been in jail and nobody will give me an opportunity to do X, Y, and Z because I have this criminal background and I can't get this job and I can't do this and do that. But then I had to say, well, wait a minute, if no one, is going to give you a handout, they're going to make it harder for you, as a matter of fact. But what are you going to do to prove these people wrong if they just give you this opportunity to shine? So I had to humble myself. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to change the people I'm with. And to be honest, I had more friends when I was a bad girl than I'm a good girl. Now that
I
I'm a good
believe it.
girl, but I had to shed those pounds. I had to let those relationships die. And I wanted to stop embarrassing my children, stop embarrassing my mother, stop embarrassing my grandparents. I wanted to let them know that I know I have screwed up, but I want to try to show you guys that I'm changing.
Okay. So what did that look like? What was I know you mentioned that you shedded some of those friends or those associates, right?
Hmm.
What was some of those ways? Because that's what a lot of people have a hard time with. No, those are my A1s, right? Those are my day ones. I can't let them go. We didn't been through and we didn't did this and we didn't did that. How can you walk away? What can you tell someone where I know that this group over here is not doing me any good, right? And if I stay connected, I'm going to stay in this position. I'm not going to be able to elevate. What can we do to be able to break that chain, to be able to break free from that particular circle?
You have to, like, stay, with it. Like, it's hard. I cried like, oh, my friends, I can't do this and I can't be around it. When I tell you, cutting people off was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And I just had to remind myself, like, when you were so and so friend, they ended up getting you locked up, or
Mm-hmm.
they encouraged you to do this and you knew better, but because you was about that life and you just thought it was okay and cool when you wanted to be down, these people kept you in that dark, or these people weren't really rooting for you. They were around you to benefit off of you, to kind of ride your coattail. And I just had to say enough is enough. I had to block these people in my phone. um
Mm.
I moved to another side of town. I uh changed my number, changed my address. It was just like, I just have to do this for the sake of being a better me and giving my children a different version of me, a better life. And it was just, I had to cry, I had to pray, I had to go sit in the dark, I had to ask God, I had to, find a way. And then I started meeting other people who saw something in me I didn't see in myself. And they start encouraging me to do positive things and introducing me to a better way, and just showing me what the other side could look like. So it is definitely hard to change, to not want to accommodate those people who are wasting your time. um,
Mm-hmm.
and who are not, who think they got you thinking you winning, but you're really not.
Right.
But
Right.
once you get over that hump and you let that go, it's like a whole nother breath of fresh air. You like in a different space, in a different world.
Well, let me tell you, and thank you for all those that are just now tuning in. We are on with What's in Your Cup Conversations with Miss Sterlin, and we're talking from cuffs to crowns. Sterlin, you may not, as you mentioned, you had, I guess you could say, the picturesque, perfect home life, the two-parent household, the loving household, all that. You decided to go down a different road because that's what you wanted to do. Now you didn't brought it back to now you're using your past as a positive platform because now you out there, you're modeling, you're on pageant stages, right, that people figured you shouldn't be on, and you are now now advocating for those that are in your shoes from when you was in the streets. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about your advocacy work first. Tell us about it.
Okay, so when I first started pageantry back in 2020, 2021, I
Mhm.
had someone talk me into, signing up for a pageant. And I never thought like pageant, like, girl, please. I've always heard all my life how pretty I am, how beautiful I am, but I never thought I was pageant pretty. Like
Okay.
like Miss America. Like, no, I can't do that. But I had a friend who did a pageant, and she was like, when you start going into the pageant world, everyone has a platform, like they work for something
Mhm.
that they will do community service in, that they're passionate about. And she gave me examples like people do domestic violence and, breast cancer and women's empowerment, and all those are beautiful platforms. But she was like, try to pick something that's near and dear to you, something that
Right.
you won't just put a bunch of numbers out at people. You can
Yes.
really connect with someone. So I was like, what about working with formerly incarcerated women? And she was like, what about formerly incarcerated women? And I was like, I want to see if I can build a network of people who would want to help formerly incarcerated women. And she, got in my head exactly what is it that you want to help them with. And I was like, well, I know when I got home from jail, I couldn't find a job. I was like, and I learned that some of these women struggle with, they don't know how to even fill out a job application.
Hmm.
They don't know how to write a resume. They don't know how to job interview. And that was things that, my mother taught me. I was able to learn as adulthood. And I was like, I want to be able to teach someone that if sis don't have her hair done for the job interview, I want to be able to call one of my friends who do hair and be like, can you do this lady hair for me so she can go to her job interview? Because of course, our hair is our crown. We feel like $1,000,000, baby, when we get
Baby, you know it.
and that will give someone the confidence to
Yeah.
go in the job interview and look somebody in the eye, shake them in the hand, and go for that job. If they having problems with transportation, I want to be able to tell them, hey, you can go here and get a bus pass free for 30 days, or just kind of come up with a collect. They need a place to stay. I can call someone and say, hey, I know someone who needs some emergency housing. They need help with childcare,
Okay.
whatever it is. And I was like, and I want to be able to build this up so that I can connect these women when they get out so that they won't face reincarceration. Because some of them come home and they are hopeless. And
Okay.
I know what that feels like. And if I can help one woman with that hopelessness, then that's what I want to do. So I ended up, playing around with it and with my family and what we going to call it, and then my spouse was like, you came from cuffs to crowns, girl. I was like,
I love it. I gotta put it back up there because you did. Baby.
like, what? You know what? Oh my God. That's gonna get them from cuffs to crowns. That is really what I have done. That is what I am doing. being
Uh-huh.
a formerly incarcerated woman who went from being in the streets and just being wild and just not giving a care in the world to being humble, being graceful, being poised.
Oh, but wait a minute, Miss Sterling.
Being,
Where are these crowns at? I want to see some of them.
ooh,
Not all of them. What I want to see one or two of them. Where they at? Just give them some camera time.
okay.
Because I need you to, I need to see if you got you got crowns for real, for real. Okay.
This is the last crown that I received. I was given a lifetime legacy queen with Sparkle Nation LLC, which is my Sparkle family. I love them to death, and they accepted me with open arms. They were like, Sterling, you just gotta come over here where we at. So I love Sparkle Nation. Um, this is my first international crown that I won under the Royal Productions umbrella. I competed for Mrs. Classic Beauties International in 2023. And to my surprise, I won the title, and
Oh.
it has been amazing. It's opened so many doors. Just pageantry alone has, like, I already kind of knew, where I wanted to go with it and what I wanted to do. But when they see this crown, and then I get the attention, and then I get to sit down and say, well, hey, girl, let me tell you,
That's all
really,
you need. You just need them to open the door. You got everything else covered.
right.
Baby, yes. I
Right.
love it. I love it. Well, I am very, very proud of you and what you're doing, first and foremost, in telling your story, right? I know there are a lot of women and men, for that matter, that are coming out from incarceration and stuck, but you're now giving them, you're using your testimony to share resources and connect with some other individuals to give them resources. There's one thing you mentioned, and we're going to come back to everything else that you do. You mentioned that when you got home, that you had this overwhelming feeling of being overwhelmed, right? With no resources and things of that nature. What is that feeling like?
Oh, it can get you in a very dark place.
Okay.
The devil start playing tricks with your mind, like, oh, you was better off in the streets. Like, who are you to try to want to do better and get better? Like, you're trying to change your life, but what are you really accomplishing? You can't find a job, you struggling to pay bills and feed your kids. Like, really, it is something that the devil will fool you. It is a feeling of, people don't know, like, the poverty that being formerly incarceration does to you, because again, you are without a job, you can't apply for a lot of resources depending on what your charges are. And it's just, you go into that dark place and you go into that dark corner, and you are like, how am I going to dig myself out this hole? Like, I started off being perfectly fine with the world at my arm's reach, and then I gave myself a criminal background, and here I am, like, feeling this big. So it is definitely a feeling of hopelessness. You are in a dark place. You want to give up. You sometimes think you better off going back to the streets of
Mhm.
what you was doing to get incarcerated, and you just have to fight through it. You
So
have
tell the people, because you mentioned that could be a dark place, right? And the devil can be busy, but you are one of those people. You had a praying village, like a for real praying village, and a
I did.
circle behind you. Talk to those people and those individuals that may not have such a strong village. Talk to them directly and let them know from somebody who's been there.
There are people out there where you will least expect it, who are rooting for you. I learned that the lady that I used to go to arch my eyebrows, was rooting for me. I learned that the teacher that I met when I was in the South Carolina Department of Corrections was rooting for me. I learned that a correctional officer that I met when I was locked up, I ran into her on the streets and she was like, I don't ever want to see you in that place again. You too good for that. It's something out there, better for you to do. Um, a lady that I met at a luncheon, her and I made a connection, just, being chatty. You know how us girls get and we start
Mhm.
talking. And then I gave her my number and we kept in touch. And come to find out, she's rooting for me. She wants to give me an opportunity to work with her in the fashion industry. It's I have met more people who were strangers that were willing to help me better myself than the
Mhm.
people who I thought were on my team. So if you feel like you don't have that circle, your circle is out there. Rather, you need to find a support group. Rather, you need to you they have so many different resources, you can reach over the internet or on the phone, but it is someone out there who wants to see you win, but you definitely have to want to see yourself win first. You
Okay.
definitely do. But it was so many people out there who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and I am grateful for that.
I'm
And
glad,
that they are part of the reason I'm here.
I'm glad you brought that up because let me tell you. Okay, I'm not gonna go back to that picture, but I want to go to this picture. I asked you for a picture when you said enough was enough, and that was the picture in the grass. And as I was doing my research, I found this picture online, and
Mm,
I thought it was appropriate to put them side by side.
mm.
What is what is the older educated now woman, and I'm going to say this because you are now working on your master's degree, right? You're working on your master's degree. What can this young lady on the right or the left tell this young lady on the right?
That young lady in the grass,
Mm,
she that I believe I was home maybe about a week from the last time I was incarcerated.
okay.
And I came home and it was the weekend of my family reunion on my mom's side. And I went to the family reunion and I was like, they haven't seen me in like a month or two. I know word done spread. They know I done been in jail. And it was a bit of embarrassment, but it was like, okay, girl, make this your last time going behind those bars. And tighten up. And then once I start tightening up and I start winning, I just could not see myself going back. And
Okay.
then that other picture, you know how like you think you got it all figured out, you finally winning, you get into it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was like, God, we can't be doing this. Like right when I think that my life is finally getting together and I'm accomplishing all these wonderful and beautiful things. Then I found out I got breast cancer, and on all days on Valentine's Day, it was devastating. And I cried my tears, and I had to tell my children, I don't know what this is going to be for me, and I don't know what's going to happen from here. But what I'm not going to do is let this defeat me. God done brought me through prison. God done brought me through the jail, and He took me out in the streets. And I'm not gonna lie, if He hadn't locked me up a few times, He did. I think it saved my life. So I got something to fight for. I got children I want to see grow old. I got a grandbaby now. Like I'm not gonna let this beat me. So the older, wiser me was like, Sterling, you have already beat this. We are going to speak it into existence. We are
Yes.
going to continue to smile. We not going to think about, oh, you sick now, so you got to do this, that, and the third. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep navigating through life and we're going to keep winning. And
you,
that is what I continue to do
and you is.
every
Because the battle was already won, baby.
it is. And I tell anyone, if God take you to it, he definitely can bring you through it. And one of my favorite Bible verses, I recite it every now and again. If God is for you, then who can be against you?
You know what?
One of my favorites.
Okay, so I wasn't gonna let my eyeballs sweat today. I said I wasn't going to.
Mm,
Sterling, you almost got me, but I got a question for you. So you went from two-parent household to now I want to run in the street because I can, to now I done did this jail time, to now I'm married. So you got married after you got out of jail the last time?
I did. I got married. And I met this person who was, they say opposites attract.
Okay.
But I met this person who required me to grow up. Like never acts like formally, but it's like you want to be with this person who is definitely on a grown-ish
Yeah.
and not playing and has a career and is trying to build. And you can't be with all this foolishness if you really, really, really see yourself being with someone for the rest of your life. So I'm going to say the requirements, but it was like I said, it was never directly asked, but you could just see someone in
Hmm.
yourself, and then you can see this person and be like, oh, they ain't finna take all that BS.
So was it something like what's the show Love After Lockup? Was it something like that? I gotta ask. I gotta ask. Was it like that, or was that
It,
just too
it wasn't quite that crazy, but
Oh, okay.
it's a story to tell for another day.
Got it. Okay, so we're going to bring you back because I am going to do a show because you're not a spring chicken, but you're not a seasoned chicken either. You in that
Right,
mid range. So we're
right.
gonna do a
I am.
show about getting married at this age because it's some of us that's still waiting to get married,
It's
right?
coming, girl.
It,
Your boy ass is coming, girl.
right. So we gonna have a panel of married men and women, and so I'm gonna have to bring you back so you can share that story. But your husband, your now husband, he accepted you with your background, but help you grow
So,
to who you are, right?
I am married to a woman,
Okay.
and she is definitely somebody who what just wasn't gonna play that. And then when I told her, and I was very open and honest with her about my background, like you might not want to fool up with me, girl, cause cause I'm off the chain or whatever.
Right.
But when this person came to me and was like, find out what it is you need to do to get your license back. So you could stop going to jail for driving under suspension. Find out what it is that you need to do to get your background cleared so that I can help you do that. Find out who it is you need to call. Matter of fact, I know some people, because again, she's retired law enforcement. I know some people. What you got going on that you need to do to fix it? Because if you really want to fix it, then let's go ahead and fix this, girl, because and I was like, you know what? She want to see me win. Somebody who was a stranger to me, who I got to know over the years and grew to love, but she wants me to better myself. Like you
Right.
got kids. Don't you want to be home with your kids? And I was like, yeah, I love my kids.
Right.
Then ironically, my son grew up and he became a police officer. So I was like, I definitely can't be embarrassing my baby out here.
So you surrounded yourself in another form by officers.
I
Okay.
did. My son, funny story, my son came home and he was like, Ma, I want to become a police officer. And I looked at him and I said, son, all these years, your mama done been about that life. And you finna do what?
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay.
But he said he wanted to become a police officer. And when he was 20, 21 years old, he went to the police academy and that's what he did.
Wow.
So it was definitely the story of my transition was definitely like Okay, my baby done became a cop. I'm dating someone who has been in law enforcement. You definitely like, how you gonna call these people and tell them they got to come get you out the county jail because you still don't know how to behave at 35, at 37, and
Okay.
for like we not doing that. So we then you got daughters. Your daughters going to college, and how you going, you know, be the encouraging college mom and all that stuff if you just don't get yourself together. So it definitely was things that I looked up to my children because at 21, at 22 I spent my 22nd birthday in prison.
Okay.
At 18, 19, 20, I'm looking at my children go from high school straight into college, straight into the police academy, straight into nursing school, things like that. And I'm like, I thank God, like they covered them because it definitely took a village. Because when I was away, my mom stepped in, my children's other grandparents stepped in, my grandparents were there. Like it definitely took a village, and I feel like my children didn't give up on me, my mom didn't give up on me. I'm not gonna give up on myself, but it's time to make these kids proud of me, so they won't be like, my mama say going to jail. Like I don't want my kids to say that, that they having to come see me in that ugly orange jumpsuit. I want them to be able to say, you know what, my mama made some mistakes, but she came home and then she earned an associate's degree. Then, when she decided she wanted a bachelor's degree, she went back to school and got her bachelor's degree in a year and a half. And then she took a break, but my mama getting a master's degree. She'll have one in September. Like, ooh.
Yes. Come on, masters.
Like I'm like, stop giving the county or the prison your time. Like, shoot, I like to go on vacation now. I like to wiggle my toes in sand. You know,
Wiggle, wiggle. Come on. Okay.
so it's the world is bigger than this, and I want to be able to see it. And I know I can't see it indulged in foolishness. I had
Right.
I had to see it. I had to get there, and the only way I could get there is if I'm free, honey. So yeah, I had to go from them cuffs to crowns.
Yes, from cups to crowns. I love it because, baby, these last 2 weeks, you had my inbox buzzing. They was like,
Ooh,
Consuela, I want to know. You need to watch the show because I'm not telling you nothing. Well, I
ooh.
went to look at her page. I know it's private. That's not my business. But let me tell you, so let me ask you this. I know you are on this journey of reform for other people, and it's going to always be a journey for you because it's part of who you are, right? It's
Right.
part of your testimony. But you're now helping people, that are either getting ready to get released or already out and looking for resources. You are now that voice, and you have platforms, and you have ways to get doors open, and you just need those doors open so you can get in there. Talk to the audience, right? Because again, we are now global. Your email address is on the screen. Tell the world what Sterling needs from cuffs to crowns to help others to succeed.
The most important thing we need is to let us allow us to show the world that we can make our second chances, our best chances, honey. If we are given the opportunity to shine, that's all that we need. A lot of times, all we need is the introduction. Once we get in the door, we know what to do, but we need for someone to believe that we are reformed, we are revised, we are renewed. Like we can do this. Yes, we're going to have a past. We're always going to have a past. It's nothing we can do about that. But we're here now. So I need for people to have a willingness to give us the opportunity to show you how we can be better. And if you are willing to donate resources, if you are willing to donate funds, my door is always open for that because what I do is go out here and, like I said, if this woman needs an outfit to wear to her job interview, I'm gonna go and help her find that outfit. If she needs help, and sometimes these women are battling with other underlying issues. They are dealing with domestic violence, or they trying to kick a drug habit, or um, they having mental health issues. I will get in my own car and be like, girl, let me drive you to an appointment. Let me feed you today. Let me feed your kids. Let me come meet you so I can talk you off the ledge. If it's someone out there who is willing to help me help these women and these men too, because I meet them and I direct them to someone else who, works more closely with the men, and who has given me the opportunity to work with the youth, um, to go out and just help these people be who they can be after incarceration.
Okay. Y'all heard it here. Y'all send an email. Cuffs to Crowns LLC at gmail.com. The email is on the screen, right? Check her out, send her an email, let her know how you can help in this cause, because it is a much needed cause, it is a much needed platform, because I truly believe there are formerly incarcerated, individuals, men and women, who do want change, but they don't know how to go get it, or the resources, or like you mentioned in the beginning, they keep having these doors closed in their face and no one that's believing in them, right? So I'm going to put it out there again. The email for Cuffs to Crowns and for Sterling directly is cuffs to crowns LLC at gmail.com. If you are not yet comfortable reaching out to her directly, you can always email us here at smile@consuelanicole.com, and we can make sure you get connected to whomever you need to get connected to. Okay? There are resources. You are not in this fight and this journey by yourself. Right?
Absolutely.
So let
Absolutely.
me let me ask you this question, and this is something I ask all of my guests. We live in the midst of cancel culture, right? People like to cancel stuff that they don't understand, or they've never experienced, so it must not be true, and that's just bad. You can't reform, right? We live in this wonderful cancel culture. How What does it mean to you at this point in your life to live life with no more limits while being beautifully flawed?
So, being a formerly incarcerated woman, you come home and you are expected to be a productive citizen. You are expected to go out here and get employed and pay taxes and do things like that. But again, like you say, you have a flaw, so it's not that easy. So what you have to do is allow yourself to create a space for you to shine, to glow. Yes, you want to have your naysayers. I have showed up to a pageant and competed against a beautiful woman, and she like, oh, she done been to prison, what's she doing here, how's she even able to compete? And it's like, let me, and going very friendly, because I'm such a girl's girl. I love everyone, hey girl, hugging and stuff. But then when I find out they say things behind my back, I let it roll off my back like a duck with water. What you have to do is remain who you are, who you say you are, and who you want to be. And you have to be true to yourself. I don't need you to remind me that I've been to jail. I've been to prison. I know that. I done been called names like jailhouse floozy, and oh my goodness, I done heard some good ones. But it's like I'm just gonna continue to walk in my zone, to do me, because again, it's nothing I could do about that. But I don't went through this manifestation of going from this caterpillar to this butterfly. So
Yes.
I'm gonna continue to let my wings spread. I'm gonna continue to live in my positivity, live in my normal. Every day ain't sunshine. I don't have a good attitude every day. You know, Sterling could be something else some days.
Right, right.
You know. But for the most part, it's like, why should I allow someone to have power over me to change the dynamic that I see for myself? Why should I allow someone, because they don't feel comfortable with my past? Why should I let that stop me? Because you not feeling comfortable with who I am, that's your problem, not mine.
It is.
And I will never, ever let how someone else feels about Sterling bother Sterling, because Sterling has accomplished so much in so little time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's nowhere but up from here. I have survived prison. I
Mhm.
have survived cancer. Baby, I can't let y'all stress me out.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm going to be on the lookout for what Sterling got going on because Sterling is getting ready to hit another pageant stage
Oh,
in a
yes.
few months, 2 months,
Yeah, in October. Mhm.
October.
So I wasn't honestly going to do any more pageants. I was kind of comfortable with being in the background, encouraging other women to do pageants, judging,
Mm-mm,
making
mm-mm,
appearances, things like that.
mm-mm.
And I had one of my sorority and Eastern Star sisters like, mm-mm. I got something I want you to do. And I was like, what you need me to do, girl? She was like, I need you to compete for Royal Productions in October. And I was like, girl,
So you're doing the
really?
sorority pageant.
Yes, I'm doing National Sorority Pageant for Royal Productions.
So what is your official, because we're about to get ready to end, but what is your official pageant title, your current title? I know you got Sparkle Nation and Lifetime, but the one you competing in October, what is that?
I will be competing for Mrs. National Sorority Pageant. I am the current Mrs. South Carolina National Sorority Pageant, representing my organization, Alpha Lambda Chi Sorority Incorporated, which is a pageant sorority. It is filled with other queens, past and present. We believe in empowerment over competition. We believe collaboration will get more done, and we definitely stand for community service and empowerment and encouragement and just working together. Each one of us has different gifts, different knowledge of different things. And when we get together and make it happen, we like Captain America. We let them powers combine and
I love it. Okay. So I'm going to go check out that sorority. That's a new one for me. So I'm going to go check it out. We're going to talk about some other stuff
okay.
after we finish, right?
Yes,
But I
ma'am.
want to thank you very, very much for joining us on this episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. Guys, I want guys and girls, boys and girls, everybody in between. Y'all, we got one episode left of season 2, and that is airing in 2 weeks. So make sure you check it out at what'sinyourcupconversations.com. You can also check all the replays on the website and on YouTube. If you have a story or a testimony that you're ready to share, check out the website, go to the website, submit your information. If you're not quite ready to tell your story, but there's some topics you want to hear us talk about, send us an email at smile@consuelanicole.com. Until next time, guys, I will see y'all in 2 weeks. And remember, this is your story. This is your journey. You take that pen and control the narrative. Until next time, have a good night, everybody.